Hey, 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 black man. Wrote a letter to a black man. Keep stepping through it, black man. You make it, you make it, you make it, black man. You make it, you make it. Promise you can keep it real, dawg. Yeah, you can keep it real. Pain is not forever, you can heal, dawg. You know, then you will, dawg. Oh yeah. You ain't gotta fake it, no. But you ain't gotta treat it like your heart is really vacant. Faking like you don't got no emotions, that don't make sense. I know you trying to get it going and been patient. Using every skill within you, even latent. Doing everything you can do just to make it. Cause you ain't made it, don't forget that yet though. Said you done gave it all to God, what you fret for? Man, even Jesus got some scars, what you scared of? Too busy holding on to stuff should've been let go. See, when you scream into the void, it doesn't echo. But what you speak into existence will surely appear. But see, there ain't no GPS help you move through your fear. You gotta give yourself the drive, put you in the gear. Lack of it ruin your years, listen to me. Black man. Wrote a letter to a black man. Keep stepping through it, black man. You make it.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another season and the first episode of Letter to a Black Man, the podcast. I am your host, B. Bernardo, and I'm super excited to have you back tuned in, logged in for this episode. We are in 2026, so we're definitely going to start this thing right. And by that, I mean we're going to do a mental health check in. If you've seen or if you've been here before, I have had the pleasure of meeting a gentleman he's been very supportive and I've been supportive of him, none other than Rashad Young. I'm excited to have him back as we dive into this mental health check-in. So sit back, relax, share the live, share it with another brother who you feel needs to do a mental health check-in while we're just going to tackle some of the things that has transpired in 2025 to get us where we are now in 2026 and how can we better ourselves for the rest of this year. So without further ado, I am sitting with my brother. Y'all please put your hands together, make some noise for Rashad Young.
B,
What's up? What's up? What's up?
what's going on, brother? How we doing?
What's up? What's up? We're back. We're kicking 2026 out. Like we're kicking it in with the a bang of doing a mental health check-in. How are
Right.
you?
I'm good, man. Happy New Year's to you, man. It's
Happy
crazy.
New
It's
Year.
been about a year since we had the first convo, man. So to be a part of the
Absolutely.
beginning of your second season, I'm so grateful, man. So appreciate you having me.
No problem. I definitely appreciate it. But before we get started, for those who are tuned in or who watched before, I definitely want you to introduce yourself to everybody, to the viewers.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Rashad Young, born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. A couple things about me. I'm a counselor, I'm an educator, I'm a mental health professional. I like to specify what I do. I'm in the space of becoming a therapist. Right now, I'm a CIT, so I'm a counselor in training in the process of becoming licensed. So about 2 or 3 years, I'll be licensed. So, yeah.
Perfect, perfect. I'm super excited for that. One thing I will say is that having a Black therapist really matters. because I know I've gone through therapy quite a few times. My first therapist was a black guy, and definitely it was more relative. Like we were able to relate to each other, so it felt good to be able to have a bro to bro conversation, but and be able to kind of be transparent and not have to feel judged because either he went through what I went through and
Yeah.
or he could help me navigate some things. So definitely having black men to speak and pour into the lives of not only black men but young men,
Mhm.
women, just anybody who comes in front of them. So I do want to take my hat off and congratulate you on the path to help heal the world, because I know you're going to be one of the people that help heal the world. So I take
Appreciate
my hat
that.
off to you.
Yeah, it's a journey, man. It's one of those things that I never thought I'd be doing. I always got to give credit to my mother for telling me I was going to be a therapist in the first place. Didn't see it for myself, but
Okay.
I think once you get into it, you recognize that it's a need. First off, I mean, I've been told by countless people that how much of a unicorn I am in the space, just because therapy is not only a heavy woman based field. Oh, lost my brother. We're gonna hold it down. We're gonna hold it down for a second. He can be back. Oh, he here. Man, if you wanted me to take over, B, you could have just told me this, man. I got it. I could be the host for today. It's all good. Uh-oh. Now I can't hear you.
It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on right now.
Oh,
So I
good.
definitely do apologize about that. Yikes.
No, it's fine. I was about to take over, man. I was about to do a whole comedy bit for the next hour until you got back on. So I was prepared. I was for it. I was all for it.
Listen, I'm
Um,
sitting, I'm like, what happened? I'm
yeah.
looking at the camera and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I was logged in on two different screens. So therefore, I could kind of bounce back. So I definitely do apologize about that for those that's out there. So if I cut you off, I did apologize about that. I
No,
don't know what just happened.
no, it's totally
Technology.
fine. No,
And we
what I
live.
Yeah, I mean, the beautiful thing about technology is that you just gotta keep rolling, man. It's one of those things that you can't control it. I saw it, I was ready. Like I said, I know when you was coming back, but I was gonna be here till you came back. I think I just lost you again.
Again.
I just lost you again. See, okay, look, I can do it. I can do a whole bit for you. We're gonna get it right though. We appreciate your patience.
Yeah, no, what is happening?
We still here. Good. I see you. I see you. See. Oh, now I can't hear you. Let's see. Almost. We gonna get there, man. We gonna get there. Look, we got nothing but time. We got nothing but time. We good. I'm actually grateful it's not me right now. I was scared it's gonna happen to me. It's probably just the audio. Probably got switched over. Still nothing, but we still here. Hope y'all having an amazing 2026. It's gonna be a great year. Even when they try to hold you back, man, we gonna keep it positive. Okay, what we gonna do? So, still not. I see you though. I see you clear. I just can't hear you. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, listen, it's gonna be more ways to skin that cat tonight. So
God is a man of many paths.
listen, I apologize about the technical difficulties. We're live, so I guess things do happen when you're live.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that I was able to have it logged in. Something just told me to log in on two different devices tonight. So okay, I guess we had to shake everybody up
Let's
to make
shake it
sure they was
up,
paying
man. We shaking
attention.
off all the bad stuff in 25. We bringing it. We being free at 26. All it took was 13 minutes, but we here.
Absolutely. Can you hear me clearly? Because I
No,
can
I
hear
can't.
you, but
No, yeah,
okay,
I'm good.
okay,
We good.
perfect.
Yeah. We good.
Whew.
We're good.
Okay, perfect. So without further ado, I guess we done pulled enough stunts for 2026. We done came in the dough. Uh, really putting a lot of stunts. So thank you all so much for bearing with me. I do apologize about the technical difficulties, but we're gonna jump right into some of the questions that I
Sure.
have for you. But right now in this present moment, how are you?
It's a great question. You know, it's one of those questions I realize I don't get often. So when I do answer it, I try to be as honest as I can be. I would say overall I'm pretty good. I think if I can give you out of 10, I would say a 7. Not because I'm in a bad space. I just think just it's been such a long, grueling road to get here, to get to the next step. And so I'm learning because I've said yes to a lot of things last year that my body's been trying to tell me no. And I've been trying to find a way to stay optimistic. And I think when you're called to do things, you recognize the pressure that you have and the heaviness that comes with it. I mean, obviously, the space that we're in, we're helping people out. It's a lot, but it's a 7 because I'm very grateful to do the work. Although it can be very tiring, it is a very rewarding field.
That's big. And I definitely would say I'm right there with you when it comes to like how am I feeling. I would honestly say last week probably was a week.
Mhm. Right.
It was a week. Um, but overall, I think the support system that I've had with going through that week allowed me to navigate. It is a new normal for me that I'm having to navigate, but um, I'm okay. Like I'm okay, and I know that I will be okay
Yeah.
as time continues to go on. But I know that oftentimes, as Black men, sometimes we don't take a moment to stop and ask, "How are you?" Or if we take a moment to ask it, do we really care what their response is going to be?
Mhm.
So I know that you have a focus group that you just recently, or you started last year in 2025.
Yeah.
Can you give me a little history of what prompted you to start that focus group? How did it go? What was your outcome? Like, how did you feel once that was done? I would like to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah. How much time we got?
We got
Eh,
time. We
we
got
got
time.
time. So the funny part is, the name of the men's group is called Rooted and Rising. I think the whole point of that is to kind of bridge 2 points. Obviously, as men, to be rooted in who we are, and to rise and ascend to the man that we want to be. So the funny part is, the original concept of the group was for me to finish school because I needed group hours, and I didn't really have an idea at first when I was doing it, and so I created it probably in May when I just kind of had the idea, and I was talking to my supervisor at the practice that I'm at, and one day I was in California for a conference, and I didn't promote it right. I learned a lot of lessons in this moment. So that's why I was asking how much
Mhm.
time. So I originally made a TikTok video at like 6 in the morning when I was out there. I was going for a walk. 'Cause I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with it. 'Cause I mean, I've always wanted to have a men's group. There's a lot of things that I feel like I've been inspired by, just seeing other people's work. And so I made a video on TikTok. I'm talking, man, like, first off, God was talking to me because I wasn't trying to go outside because it was like chilly out there. Some guy that I met stopped me, it was a whole bunch, but I kept hearing to go on this walk. So I was walking. I'm like, man, let me do this video. And I'm no like haircut, no haircut, my hair not brushed. I recorded maybe 2 or 3 times, and the tag was like, "Send this to a man that needs therapy." I thought maybe a couple moms, grandmas, somebody cousin may send it to somebody, whatever, man. And I went from Long Beach back here in St. Louis, and within a day, I had over 100,000 views. So
Wow.
I had a lot of, again, moms, grandmas, aunts, wives. It was something about the video that I guess really meant a lot to people. And I was very much in a weird situation where I saw a lot of DMs and people were trying to, find something for their man, again, husband, father, brother, whatever. It just seemed like a big cry for help. And it was she's like a sister of mine. I had a conversation with her about a month before that. uh,
Mhm.
she pretty much essentially just like prophesied over my life. She was just saying like how a bunch of men were going to be here waiting out the door for you. And, when you hear stuff like that, you like, what are you talking about? Like how, where's the concept of that? So when it happened, I was like, oh, this is what she mean. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So I was in a weird position because, like as I mentioned in the beginning, I always start with a precursor. I'm not fully licensed yet. And if you know
Mhm.
the world of therapy, there's a lot of restrictions that you have to do and go about. So
Absolutely.
I felt this hopelessness, and I had over at least 500 DMs, man. I had to take down the video because they were tagging the Breakfast Club, and I'm like, I'm not, I'm not licensed. But so the reason why I had to take it down is because I put therapy, and therapy can be misleading because it's not therapy; it's a men's group. But the fact I mentioned therapy, again, licensing, it's a whole bunch of restrictions behind it. And I remember having to make a video, like pretty much apologizing to people. I felt bad. Long story short, again, people understood, but at a moment, it just made me realize, like, oh, there really is a need for you in this space, and just that door that she talked about is there. It's going to get there, but it takes time, and so I obviously had to condense it, and so I had a very small, intimate group here. It's about 5 of us, and it was just a great time. It was free. It was 8 weeks. We got a lot of chance to fellowship and learn. I got a lot of an opportunity to learn about other people's perspective. Most of the people in my group are married. I'm not married. So, I got a better understanding of a different avenue that some men are dealing with. And I think I was very much taken back on how open men were, how much they want to get in a space like this, how much they've been craving it. And so obviously the second one, trying to do the same thing. Then run into the best run last the other day because it was canceled just because of the numbers and just a little scheduling thing. But I'm still very much optimistic. The thing is with groups, any especially a free group, it sounds good at first until you have to commit to it. Same thing with therapy. People will come to therapy for free all the time, but the moment that you have to pay and commit to it, that's when you realize you actually have to commit to it. So I'm not upset because it's free. It's still doing what I think is right. But at some point, I will have to charge people something to feel like they're committed to it. Because again, at this point, if I'm gonna have a space or a group, I'm gonna be committed to it because anything I do with anybody, I'm gonna give it 110%, no matter how I feel, especially helping people. But at the same time, too, when people, have New Year's resolutions and things like that, it always sounds good. Gyms give you free month, 2-month trials, or it's a lot of discounts we get in the beginning of the year to incentivize you into doing it, which is great. But the problem is, though, again, we also have to commit to it. If we really want to do it, then we need to actually commit to it. So it is something I'm excited to do. Looking forward to it. But yeah, so that's a long story short about how we got there. It was an idea for school that I needed that turned into something I want to continue to do.
Absolutely. First and foremost, I do want to commend you for taking the initiative to start the group.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I was a little upset that I couldn't join the group. I'm
I'm
just gonna be
sorry.
honest. I'm just gonna be honest. But I I really do appreciate you creating that space. Like I really
Yeah.
do appreciate you creating that space. One, because what I've seen, which kind of goes back to the reason for me starting Letter to a Black Man. I at the time, and I'm on social media a lot, but when I would scroll through, I would see a lot of men not really having an outlet. So creating a space that would allow men to have real conversations, us to talk about stuff that we oftentimes sweep under the rug, and then not feel judged, not feel like creating a safe space for them.
Yeah.
So when you created the space to have it and you only kind of put it towards your area, which again, I got it. I respect it. I ain't mad
Yeah.
no. I ain't mad no more. We 2026 now. I ain't
You gotta
mad no
let it
more.
go.
But I do.
Mhm.
But I do appreciate you creating that space and then just having those guys to come in and kind of feel safe to be able to. Because one thing men are not going to do is if they don't have a safe space to release, they won't release.
Yeah.
And then they'll hold it in, and then it'll come out in other actions, which it'll come out in the way they communicate to you or the way they distance themselves from you. So I definitely do again commend you for creating that space. And it's only up from here. It's gonna be bigger and better.
Yeah, one of the things I appreciate that. One of the things that I've learned is that if you know anything about me as we continue to know each other, man, I shoot for the stars, man. So trust me, I'm always thinking of things. I want to get to the point where I want to have kids involved, teenagers. I mean, I think if we can put people in a position earlier, I always say if
Mhm.
we all went to therapy as kids, imagine how healed we would actually be as a society. A lot of us don't start getting into therapy until we're adults, and then we have to relive our childhood, and then we have to now propel as adults. So it's a little bit different. So again, it's a lot of great people that are doing a lot of great things. I think for me,
Mhm.
I want to continue to do it. I just understand that there is a time for it. But if I could say yes to it right now, I will find a way. But we're gonna find a way to make it work, man. At the end of the day, like like you mentioned, the safe space matters. And at some point we can't continue to complain about us not having something and not somebody wanting to take the wheel. Again, I'm one of those people, man. I'm just gonna do it after a while. I get tired of hearing about people complain about the same stuff. And really, I think for us
Absolutely.
as a monolith, especially as black men, we do got to hold ourselves to a higher standard that I think we have honestly have dropped a little bit just as a collective. At some point, we do have to take a look in the mirror at certain things and be like, okay, we need to get better as a collective to become better, well-sounded men. Because it's not, again, we can't just put it on women to be a safe space alone. Again, we have many of spaces that we already kind of have, barbershops, restaurants, etc. It's just the question is, what are we talking about? We really
Mhm.
hold each other accountable and stuff like that. So that's my goal now. Is like really take it up a notch to be intentional, but also like to help us again become better.
Absolutely. I definitely am with you when you like, okay, hey, I start something and I want to shoot for the stars. Of course, you got to go through your technical issues. As you see, here we are in 2026 going through technical issues.
Right.
But that too will be over soon. But
Yeah.
I'm super excited for what you have going on and just the push that you have to keep going. I will say or my question for you would be when was the last time you sat in silence and dealt with yourself, and how did that go for you?
Remember the first time you asked me the question last season, I was stumbled. I think honestly, I sit in the silence a lot more than probably I think people would imagine. I mean, I think naturally I'm an introvert, so if I'm not doing anything, I would say sitting. I would say probably I graduated a couple weeks ago, probably the day after, man. I think I just kind of sat with just everything. I'm always very much reflective on what I'm doing or what I can do better. I just learned now that I have to be very intentional when I'm doing it because if I sit with it all the time, because I can be a little critical, then I'll be doing it all the time. So I think when I had a moment of a milestone kind of stopping and the year kind of ending, um, I had a moment to do that. How did I deal with it? I mean, I think like anything else, one, it was gratitude because a lot of things that I prayed for last year actually happened. I just didn't recognize the capacity of what that would look like.
Mhm.
For asking myself or praying that I wanted to, speak in conferences. I had 5 last year after several years of being told no. To meeting beautiful people in my life, they're very supportive and they bring a different sense of energy. So as I'm getting to know people or connecting with people, they're helping me see there's more than life than always being serious. Because anybody who really knows me, I'm a pretty serious guy. So I'm trying to find. I am, man, and it's something that I think I've gotten to after a while. Because I think when you're think when you're called to do something, I think you just sometimes recognize the weight behind it, and I don't really take anything that I'm called to do at this point lightly. I understand the platform that I got or whatever I'm assigned to do. So because of that, I've become a little too full send with it. But I think
Mhm.
now I want to be very present and intentional. I think anything I do now, I want to be intentional around again my mother, my family, whoever, just to really be just a more well-rounded individual, not too much, not put too much pressure on myself to overachieve all these things. So I would say a couple weeks ago, but then before that, I would probably say when I turned 30 last year, a couple months ago, I think I had an epiphany. I don't know what happened, man. I turned 30 and I feel like I had like a mini midlife crisis because you just recognize how fast time goes and realize how much time you spent wasting on worrying about things and a lot of stuff that's out of your control. So I think for me, I think it also just made me recognize a lot of stuff that I was holding on to, just past situations or angers or hurts that really have no true power right now. Um, I think that was the second one, and when that or the first one, and when that happened, it was a lot of tears. You know, it was a lot of tears because again, I wanted to let go of that old hurt that I think a lot of us kind of deal with all the time. So yeah, I would say those are two moments for me, man. I'll say that.
No, absolutely. No, you're perfectly fine. I would definitely say that's a question that I asked you, but that's a question that I also kind of sat with myself today to see when was the last time that I actually sat with myself. I would definitely say it had to be New Year's Day. I sat with myself. Um, it was different. Uh, it was different
Yeah,
because
different household.
anybody, it was. What was that? You said
I
what?
said different. I said different household. I
I
ain't
would say
trying to
it was.
therapize you. I ain't trying to therapize you.
No, it was. It was definitely different because I would say anybody who knows me, who truly knows me, no, I don't like being alone
Oh wow.
because I know I know that about myself, and I think that's one thing we have to figure out. Like, I know I do not like being alone.
Mm,
So that was something that I had to, I was alone in that moment because oftentimes when I'm alone, it makes me have conversations with myself. I'm dealing with some of those things that I've oftentimes swept under the rug because I'm like, okay, this is too much. I don't want to deal with this right now. Let me
yeah.
go be with somebody else so I can
Yeah.
laugh and have fun. And then when
Mhm.
I do
Mhm.
get home and I'm by myself, I'm going to sleep because it's too much on my mind. You know, like it's always you're having to try to fill the void. Or fill the silence with noise because I did not want to deal with myself
Yeah.
in certain aspects. And it was like, I felt like I was showing up and being the best person, but were they getting the real me because I haven't dealt with myself? And I oftentimes hear some of the like celebrities that I follow. They're like, "Oh, the person has sent the representative in front, and then once the representative is there, they can only keep that representative for so long." So yeah, January 1st, I sat with myself, and it was different, but it was eye opening. And I actually sat at the park, and I had seen on TikTok where they do like the letting things go in 2025, where they break the plate and stuff like that. And I just chose to come into 2026 doing it differently.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Do I want to sit with myself? No. But I know that it's necessary for whatever this next season is. And
Yeah.
then creating this platform, Letter to a Black Man, I can't speak life or open this platform to create a space for men to this to be an outlet and then the host can't even deal with himself. So
Yeah.
it is definitely like a let me check myself type of situation because I want to make sure that I show up and I can provide whatever necessary tools I can to be the best person for one myself and then everybody else around me.
Yeah. I mean, I commend you for doing that. You're not, funny thing is, you're not the only one that really struggles with sitting by themselves. I would argue that a lot of people do. I'm a little bit different in that case because I actually prefer I actually prefer to be alone in pockets. I think there's moments where yeah, I like to be around people, but I think again when you're at least the past at least 2 3 years because of school and stuff like that, I found myself more being okay with just I won't say isolation, but just doing a lot more by myself because at the end of the day, all you really do have is yourself. You got people around you, but until you take care of yourself, then there's nothing else is going to come from that. But as I've also sat around as well, though, when I think about people doing Friendsgivings and stuff like that, I'm like, man, I really haven't experienced much of any of that. So that made me think a little bit more that I need to try to be more social, and I am a social person. Again, I'm just very selective on who I'm really social with. So I think that people who are often the ones that like to be around people and they want to do things that they got problems too that they don't necessarily want to deal with. And so like you mentioned, like what you're trying to do with your platform now, myself in the space of trying to help people with therapy, I'm always holding myself accountable or looking in the mirror to see what I can do better. There's no way I can give advice to men or women and I'm still having things that I need to work on with myself. I can acknowledge these problems, to myself, but I cannot act like I don't have any problems at all. I think that's the problem that I think people have when they talk to me sometimes. They're like, what I do is, I'm like, I do still have problems. Sure, I have the tools, I have the awareness, but there's things that I definitely have struggled with from time to time. I just think because of what I do and maybe how serious I try to take it, I'm just probably a little more self-critical on how I can make the change when I can versus maybe somebody else.
Absolutely. I would definitely say one of the things that I know, or I would say, or I'm going to ask you, let me say that. I'm going to ask you if there was a young black man, a young boy, or a black man that you see even after this live, what is something that you would say to them to help them navigate through 2026 as we're doing a mental health check in?
Be okay with not being okay. If anything, I would say that learn how to take off the cape. The cape is a symbol for a lot of things, but I think a lot of us as men we're so we've gotten to a point that we're so performative. Again, it's not just because of who we connect with; it's just kind of how we feel. Everything we do is based off of a performance of something that's external. So money, credentials. I mean, the men or women in our lives, relationships, etc. We're always tying it to some sort of thing that we can have in a checkbox. Um, and the number one question that we ask ourselves, how are we doing? We respond back, well, I'm good, I'm okay. You're like, man, if you're not having a good day, it's all right. Obviously you need to find a space where you can share that with people. But I had to learn that as well, man. Again, last year I was literally pushing through a lot because I had to. But uh, before I was doing the conferences in front of people, man, the night before I was probably in the bed rotting, trying to find the energy to try to, make it work. And maybe there's moments that you're not okay. So I'm really learning that we have to really prioritize self care. And that's probably the other piece of advice too. You can't do it all. You're not, we can feel like Superman, but be not Superman. And if you got people around you that you can lean on, really lean on them. Because again, we can't do anything alone. I mean, they even say it in the Bible: "Man, it's not meant to be alone. A man is not designed to be alone. It doesn't have to just be a wife. It's just having a community, anything. So take care of yourself, and it's okay to not be okay."
Absolutely. And I would definitely say Monday was this past Monday was like a hard day for me because it was something where I ended a relationship, and I'm in a focus group on Mondays. And like you said, most of the time when people say, "How are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm da 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 da." But Monday, when I logged into the focus group, and it's actually with guys, but it's black and white guys. I was sitting, and they kind of got to my name, and I was like, I really just want to type in the chat, like, "I'm all right," so I don't
Yeah.
have
Well,
to verbalize it.
no fact.
So I did share. They was like, "How are you?" And I was like, "I honestly don't know how I am right now because I'm navigating a new normal." And I was not prepared for it. And it's like, what do I do now? But what I will say is, even when I was at the place where I did not want to be vulnerable, I was vulnerable. The light that was spoken back into me for me just being vulnerable was so much appreciated, because, like, the guys in the group, they had sent messages directly, or they came on the mic and was like, "Hey, bro, you got it. Like, we're here to support you." Some of those from that group have been like, "Man, get up, get out of the house, like, come hang out." Because again, if I did not, one, I didn't want you, as I said before, I don't like to sit with myself. So the time I got to sit with myself and I'm going through this, it's like, really,
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
But just having the support of those guys really made a big difference. And it kind of helped with the process. Now, when I go to the focus group tomorrow, am I going to say, "No, I'm good"? Because, I don't want to keep, I don't, and it's not necessarily beating a dead horse, but it's almost like I'm at a point now, where we had a conversation yesterday. It was a beautiful conversation. There was closure, and we can remain friends. But it's like, I don't want to keep dwelling on the past, and I don't want to be like, I don't want to feel like I'm broken in that space. I have started journaling,
good.
which has definitely been something that helped me out as well.
Yeah,
Journaling, getting it off of me, and onto paper, onto like my notepad or so. That has been a saving grace, because I promise I probably would have been spiraling. Um, I would have been spiraling real bad.
yeah,
But overall, I'm at a place now where, like you say, it's okay not to be okay,
yeah,
and
man.
knowing that people won't use that as a way to dig at you. People honestly sometimes really do care how you're feeling.
Yeah, you'd be very surprised. I mean, first off, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. I know that, breakups can be tricky. So that's one of those things where, I mean, even acknowledging it, I think is a lot better than acting like it doesn't matter at all. Because I mean, it's one of those things that we try to do well. Like we go through a breakup, like, oh no, bro, I'm good. It hurt, man. If you really spend some time with somebody and you really care about them, I don't really care how long it's been. It sounds like you were blindsided, so I've been there. That's not a good feeling. I just think it's one of those things that you learn. I think the biggest lesson I can maybe share with you or anybody else who, especially when it comes to relationships, you really have no control when those things end. You don't. And then I think sometimes we try to find a logical reason on why certain things end. Some people just are weird. Some people just end things because they want to. People make a choice, whatever it is. And the fact you're able to get closure, I mean, I think that's amazing. That usually doesn't happen. So I will say that while you're going through, it's a form of grief. You're going to have your experience
Mhm.
with that. You were able to at least maybe get some your questions answered. I'm sorry, than some people. And that thing is, you just take it and you go from there. I think that's the one thing I can tell you. And again, the fact that you share that with a bunch of guys, I know there was somebody else that's probably going through the same thing, man. They would probably
Mhm.
type it in the chat box too, because sometimes it's not even just that our feelings are hurt. Ego can get bruised too, depending on how it ends. It's like, oh, this ended, and you did this to me. You broke up with me, right? So your ego gets involved a little bit. Hey, I've been there more than once, so it's one of those things that you just learn that it's okay to grieve through things, and it does get better, but you do have to sit in and be okay with it. Don't try to distract yourself with somebody else or other things because that creates the emotional loop of problems that are just unnecessary. As men, we gotta know how to sit through pain. Unfortunately, we all do, but I think men definitely got to learn
Mhm.
because of just our positioning in life. We're meant to be, protector and providers, which means we also got to be able to deal with the uncomfortable times as well. So all it does is help you become a better man at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I want to tie in a question, and I really hope I can articulate it
Go ahead.
the the proper way.
Sure.
Um, how does
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to figure out how to articulate it.
Where you going with
How
this?
does guys, I would say, let me just say this: guys like to have sex. We just gonna be honest. Guys like to have sex. How has or how can do you feel that sex has played a role in the man's mental health? If you can answer that.
My mama watching. Mama, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry.
um,
Sorry, no disrespect.
so let me answer that. So I think it affects it in a lot of ways. I mean, I always say that one of our biggest downfalls is sometimes our inability to be sexually disciplined. I mean, if you go from a biological standpoint, we all crave it. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think the problem becomes when you recognize you're doing it to escape. Right. So, a lot of men who are womanizers, they're usually doing that to escape from their problems. So dealing with women in a very casual sense, you're getting that quick fix, with something that is a little bit more stronger than that. And so I always tell people, I don't think the best thing to do after a situation is to try to find somebody else. In a casual sense, if it happens, it happens. But I think it's one of those things where, as a man, you got to understand that you're playing with hot fire doing that. As we all
Mhm,
know, a lot of men's lives have literally ended because of lack of sexual discipline, just whole, family lives, whatever. So it's one of those things where it does affect it. I mean, I also think too that it can affect it in a situation where maybe you're in a marriage and you're not having it. I've talked to many men who have been in sexless marriages, and I think we have to realize that it's not just a physical thing; it's very much a spiritual thing as well.
mhm,
So we have to be mindful of the power that is behind that. But in the sense of just relationships or just and a casualty when dealing with it in a harmful manner, we do have to recognize the power that it holds. And I do think that a lot of our downfall as men is a lack of sexual discipline. Again, it happens. It's a need. It's a desire. But when you do it to deal with problems that will not change in that 5-10 minutes, however long, um, I ain't gonna talk about that. It's one of those things that that short term fix does not bandage the years of trauma. Yeah, again, it adds more to it because again, you're dealing with people. The other person involved is just as important. They're not just a piece of meat. They have feelings too, and so I think some people have to be very mindful of the things that they're doing. I very much that. So when I talk to my male clients about that, they look at me a little crazy, but I'm like, you have to understand that you are just as responsible and accountable for this act happening. If you understand that, and you cannot just blame somebody else, well, she just threw herself onto me. What does that have to do with anything? You
mhm,
also have the ability to understand what this can happen to, right? Or how this can play out. Again, you have to be able to accept the accountability behind that. So I definitely hold men accountable in that regard to really be mindful of that. Again, ask yourself: Are you doing this because you're feeling the person? Are you doing it because you see it going somewhere? Or are you dealing with it to mask the problem? It's no different than people drinking every weekend or smoking.
mhm.
It's like, why are you doing it? If you understand why you're doing it, it helps you out a lot better.
Absolutely. And I would definitely ask, like, why do you think Black men struggle to use outlets or struggle to have these type of conversations just in general?
I mean, you got to think about it. How many of us actually have a constructive conversation about these things? A lot of times we're introduced to it at a young age. I mean, just from the music that a lot of us listen to. I mean, I grew up listening to Jeezy, Cash Money, like Juvenile, like those records. Like, we're introduced to hypersexuality a little bit earlier, and
Mhm,
nobody sitting down telling us, maybe we shouldn't do this. As I think I mentioned in the last interview, a lot of times there's certain things that we do that are viewed as a badge of honor, and so we pretty much teach young men hypersexuality very early in a way to again be approved by a bunch of people as a social badge, where we're not sitting down telling each other, man, we probably shouldn't do this, or you probably should think about that. We don't do that. We kind of allow each other to kind of fall by the fire. And now you do it and you tell the next person and then tell the next person, but nobody is sitting around having that constructive conversation. I mean, just truthfully, we don't have a true monolithic core of leadership when it comes to like a standard in Black men. It kind of varies. So from the music we listen to our culture, I mean, we're very influential, man. I just don't think nobody constructively and critically is sitting everybody down and saying we probably shouldn't do this. And if we do have people like that, and it's not to throw shade at anybody, those are also the same people doing the same thing. So they're essentially a hypocrite. So there's nobody really holding to the same standard that they're talking about.
Absolutely. So what does accountability, and I know like you were just saying, like you don't really have anybody to say, hey, bro, you shouldn't be doing that or like navigating. So what does accountability look like for a person that is struggling with that?
Um, I mean, everything starts with self. So I can't. I never excuse the things that I think we are aware of. I mean, it's kind of like the hot stove theory. It's like when the stove is hot, just like when the iron's hot. You don't have to necessarily touch it to know if it's a good idea or not. You're probably going to get burned from it. So I
Mhm.
think in that case, why I mentioned that, yeah, we don't have a maybe a leadership group style way of talking to each other, hold each other accountable. In many friends groups, there is somebody that's doing that. It's just that person decided not to take heed to what's being said. I mean, there's been plenty of conversations that I've had with people in the past. I'm like, oh, that's not a good idea, just like they told me, and I still made my own decision anyway because men are stubborn. So we're gonna do that. So that's the thing on the anything with accountability starts with self first. It does not matter um, who says it or whoever says it. It's just if somebody is willing to do it. And if they're willing to do it, then you can be able to tell people what you learn from being accountable from that.
Absolutely. And accountability, having an accountability circle um, is definitely important. And I would definitely want to add to even have an accountability circle for men. I would say you have to have people in that accountability circle who one knows that that's what their job, like we're holding each other accountable, but you
Yeah.
also have to, I feel, respect everyone's opinions. Like you have, I was talking to my friend earlier, and she said, you have fans and you have supporters. You have the fans, which is the fake blank N words. And then you have the supporters, and then you have the supporters who truly have your best interest at heart. And
Yeah.
they come at the price of an accountability partner. So I know like if I wanted to do this, um, she's gonna be who, what, when, where, why, how, and she gonna and I'm like, at this point, you asking too many questions. I don't even want to do it no more. But if I go to my accountability partner and I say I want to do this, I know I have to have all my ducks in a row because as people, what I've heard in 2025 was make it make sense or I'm gonna get pissed off. Like it got to make sense. And it doesn't necessarily have to make just sense to me, but I want
Sure.
you to understand why you're doing this. I
Yeah.
want you to answer. Like if you go and you stand in front of a billionaire and you're like, hey, I want you to give me a loan. Make it make sense before I get pissed off. Like, make it make sense. Why do you want this money? Why should I invest in you? And then I'm sitting up there, so they're
Yeah.
like, this is just a waste of time. So I would definitely say having people who you trust that they have your best interest at heart and respect their voice.
Yeah.
Respect their voice. But then, and again, at the end of the day, they're gonna have they want you to win and they want you to they're asking you questions where if you go with the fan, they're gonna be like, yeah, go do it, you can do it, you can do it. Then you get over there and you burn your hand. But this supporter was telling you and told you, like, asked you questions. Why do you want to touch it? Did you just turn it off? How long was it off? Because that can gauge if I need to touch it or not because it's been off for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour. But it's like it's making you deal with yourself. And sometimes, again, which I said before, we don't really like to deal with ourselves. Let me say, I didn't like to deal with myself, but now going and being in this space, I'm having to deal with myself. So I definitely appreciate, having those supporters,
Yeah.
having those support.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. So, what I've also learned is that some of your biggest supporters are the people that aren't really the closest to you. I mean, they really don't. It's not really a hat in a race per se when it's somebody on the outside giving you advice. Usually your friends are, just naturally they biased. Like my boys I've known for a long time, they're gonna ride with me, regardless if I'm right or wrong. They're gonna ride with me. But sometimes you need that non-biased person that may see the skills that you have or something that you can bring that's trying to help you elevate. And I've met so many people along the way, like yourself and others, that are just really just a genuine sense of support. Where if I feel like I was caught, while I was doing something that wasn't like me, that somebody be like, "Hey, you all right, man? Like that's not like you." Whereas people that are usually closer to you, they may not necessarily say something. Oh, because we know how he is, we know how she is, so we're not gonna necessarily respond to it in a certain way. And so I think that's the thing. It's like, yeah, we all need a sense of accountability for sure. I just think it's one of those things where, again, it all starts with self at the end of the day. We got people that tell you stuff all the time, but unless you want to really make the change, then it's not going to really matter at all.
Absolutely. I would definitely. I want to know, like, if you had to give a person that is listening, a male that is listening. And I know we may have some females because your mom is here. Hey, Mama Young. So I
Oh,
do
Mama Huntley,
apologize.
don't say young. No, no, she gonna look at she probably laugh at saying that. But yes, Mama's here. Mama and a couple aunts and grandmas. What was your question?
But how if you had to give a person that is watching a little quick word of encouragement to make sure that they check on their mental health this year, what would you say to them?
Quick word of encouragement. You matter more than you think. Even on days where you feel discouraged or you feel like there's not much else to give, there's always more to give. I feel like if we're here every single day and you have life in your body and you're able to do so many things that we can take for granted, you are here to make an impact. And so, even on those days you don't feel your best, sometimes your struggles end up becoming lessons and blessings for other people. So, 3, 4 years ago, man, for myself, I probably went through one of the craziest times of my life where challenged in many ways, and it now knowing what I know now doing what I do now, all it did was prepare me for this moment. So in those moments where you feel like that, life is knocking you out and it's gonna knock us out many times, sometimes those hard moments end up being a lesson, a blessing for somebody else. So if you're feeling discouraged, you're not alone and know that people do care about you, but as long as that you're here, you're able to make an impact in so many different ways at some point.
I appreciate that. And I know that somebody either who is watching live or that will go back and replay this will they may have a feeling at some point, and they may definitely need to hear that. And hopefully it reaches the right black man to let them know that they're worth it.
Yeah.
Again, because most of the time we're again made to feel like we have to show up, we have to be strong. And I think the nuggets that you drop, it's okay not to be okay. Accountability, get you an accountability crew, get you like some people that you can kind of hang with and who has your best interest at heart. That is something that really matters because 2026, I think, is going to be an amazing year, but it's going to be a strategic year, and we have to be strategically placed and strategically supported in order for us to really kind of push where we need to go and to be the men who we are designed to be.
100%. Last thing I'll say, on top of that, everything's about action too. I think, we do spend a lot of time planning and strategizing. I'm just a believer that if you don't do anything or don't at least try, you're not going to know where it goes. So again, even in those moments you feel discouraged or you don't necessarily have a plan, just simply taking that step, it can take you a lot further than what you think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I definitely do appreciate you joining me tonight for this episode,
Yes,
this mental
sir.
health check-in, and just kind of starting the year off right. I definitely am a huge supporter of yours. And again, I don't know how I'm gonna get, do I have to be a resident of St. Louis to get on one of your
Ah!
focus groups?
So
Or if I'm traveling and I just was like, oh, it just happened to be on the day that you're doing a group chat, dropping.
so that's a great area question. To my knowledge, then you got to be a resident. So how it could ever work if it was ever outside of Missouri? To what I know is that I would have to have professional, licensed professional therapists in that particular state as also a part of it. So that was the other issue that kind of ran to the men's group. So if like anybody in Tennessee that was interested, we did a collaboration, and yeah, I could have men from Tennessee or whatever come. So it really is just contingent on who was there with me from their respective places to make it happen. So again, I mean, if I'm thinking about my own stuff, that is something that I am desiring to do, is to connect with other mental health professionals in different states. To again, it's more than enough impact to be made from all of us. And sometimes even in our own space, because it's not so many of us, we can be siloed. So I do think that we should be trying to find ways to work together to make it more beneficial, like stuff like this. So I can get people in different places in the same room, man. But no, I appreciate you
Absolutely.
for having me. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. I definitely want you to, before we close out, I definitely want you to kind of let people know what we can expect from you. Where can
Uh,
they follow you at? I know you have some books out. You also have your own podcast.
yeah.
You have this focus group. Let us know where we can kind of stay connected to you.
Well, I always love it that my Instagram handle is my name. So anything is my name. So Rashad Young on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, TikTok. I think as far as this year, man, I got some things cooking up. I got a book or two I'm gonna drop, hopefully relatively soon. And so whatever else, I'm gonna kind of allow God to lead me towards that. But I do got some big ideas. But I think the biggest thing is to get these books out. I've been sitting on them for a while, so it's time to get to work.
Absolutely. I'm super excited for you. I'm proud for you. I can't wait to see um, what comes of your group, your books, and your podcast, and just what I can't wait to see what you do. I know I'm not in St. Louis. I kind of get it. I got it. I got it. But I
Yeah,
definitely appreciate your support, your push. And then I definitely want to always be supportive of you. I think again last year when you and I met, we met through Threads,
threads.
Instagram or Threads.
Those threads. Yeah.
And it was different. And I think the fact that we've been supporting each other this entire time, you said yes to the first time and you said yes to this. So I definitely appreciate you from the bottom of my heart for
Yes, sir.
just being a part of Letter to a Black Man. And I know it's going to be great. You're going to be great. I'm going to be great. We're going to be great. And I'm coming to St. Louis one day. When I
Yeah,
come, I'll
man.
let you
Hey,
know.
please do. And again, for you, man, is the fact that you made this platform again to give Black men a space to kind of share things. I mean, I think is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm very grateful that you allowed me to start it off. I know you got a lot of amazing guests this season to come. I'm excited to see the new innovations of things that you got cooking up as well, man. I won't spoil for the people, but I think again the fact that you're staying true to your vision of what you want to do, man, it's only going to get bigger. And as always, if you ever need me to come back for a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I have no problem doing it, man. I'll do it every time. So I appreciate you.
I do appreciate that. Now, when I call you tomorrow, don't say nothing. When I say, hey, I need you up.
Hey, one thing about me, I'm a man of my words. So if I say I'm gonna do something, then I mean it. So yeah, anytime, man. If you need me to join, whatever, I'm so serious. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I mean, if you ever need me, I know I ain't in St. Louis, but I ain't gonna be around. If you ever need me to show up or anything, just
Yeah,
definitely reach out because I definitely want to be able to
yeah.
continue supporting you and whatever you have going on as well.
I appreciate you, brother, man. Thank you.
No problem. So thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Letter to a Black Man. I will end you out, and then I have a little note that I want to read to the people.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to Letter to a Black Man, the podcast. I really appreciate the conversation that I had with my brother Rashad tonight about a mental health check in. Sometimes we definitely need it. We oftentimes don't get the the platforms to do the mental health check-ins like necessary. And it doesn't have to necessarily be on camera. You can get your group of people that support you, that push you, and that want to see you succeed. So I want anybody who's listening to know that you're worth it. You are worth it. Any black man, any person who listens to this, I want you to know that you're worth it. But before I go, I want to read this letter to a black man. Dear black man, I know that you are tired of carrying expectations, silence, and the pain you were never taught how to release. I know you were told to be strong, but never taught how to be safe with your feelings. This is a reminder that checking in on your mental health is not weakness, it's survival. Talking is not complaining. Rest is not laziness. Needing help does not make you broken. Your mind deserves care the same way your body does. Your heart deserves space to breathe, having outlets, real ones, honest conversations, therapy, brotherhood, creativity, and even silence can be the very thing that saves your life. You matter. Your emotions matter. Your life matters. And you deserve to be here whole, healed, and heard. With love, I am Beaver Nardo. Thank you all for tuning in.